Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sedona Psychics. And I lied, guys. I have one more reader that we need to introduce to everybody. Everybody, I would like you to meet my Aunt Chris, also known as just Chris on the Crystal Magic Psychic Center website. Hi to everybody,
hmm
Chris.
Hello. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here.
Awesome. We're
Yeah.
glad you're here. We're glad you're here. So this is actually the final episode of the Meet the Reader segment on the podcast. So we're just gonna kind of get right into it, you guys. So, Chris, how are you
hmm
feeling today? How are you feeling coming into this conversation?
Really good. I like the idea of explaining what I do and how I do it.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yes, yes,
I'm a little different, as we all are.
yes. All of us are very unique and individual in our own ways.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So we're just going to jump right into this here. I'm going to ask you some questions about your path and your journey and kind of how you got to where you are today with
Okay.
being involved in the family business and things like that as well, and being able to share your gifts with the people in the world.
hmm
So, can you
hmm
share a little bit about your spiritual journey and how did this path like first begin for you?
It has been a long journey, long spiritual as far as seeking on the spirit side and the physical side. So I would say the earliest memory I have is around 7, 8 years old. I call it a spiritual story. Some may say ghost, however they want to say that. I had a grandfather who had passed, and I was with my other grandfather, who was a sweet man. I absolutely loved him. And I was a dorky looking child. I'm just going to say that. And he would always tell me, "You're beautiful. You're a model. I was like, "Ah, am I?" One day, as we're talking in his face, I see the dead grandpa's face completely overlap on him. And I backed up and he was like, "What's wrong?" I said nothing. And I backed up and I went in the kitchen and I stood by my mom. When we left the house, I said to my mother, "Please call grandma when we get home because grandpa's going to pass away in 3 days." And my mom, "You're just a kid. What do you know?"
Yeah,
And 3 days later, he passed in his sleep. We got the
right?
phone call. I remember my mom getting the phone call. And then from then on, things, spiritual things like that would happen to me. I can remember going to run across the street, never looking, just right it, and I would hear my full name called. And I would stop and turn around. Nobody would be there, but that car would go right by that I was about to run in front of. That
Wow.
happened many times to me. Wasn't sure what was going on. My mom, I think our mother was a little bit afraid. I kind of feel like that because of what I had just happened with grandpa and all that. So I was sort of odd man out, they would say.
Hmm.
But it wasn't till I was almost 9, just before I was 9, that my grandmother, who lived next door, who was from Hungary, I was sitting at her kitchen table as I did every day for sugar bread and cup of coffee that was so strong. But that was what she would give us. So I was sitting there with her and her son, my Uncle Andy. And as we're talking, a woman appears, just a silhouette, and stands in the middle of the table. And I look at my uncle and he's just talking away. And I look at my grandma and she's not saying anything. My uncle leaves and I say to my grandma, "Did you see the woman in the middle of the table?" And she said, "Yes, everybody from Old Country comes to me when they die." And I went, "Oh my God, I'm okay." I was like, "I'm okay. You see it too. I'm
I know,
okay."
right?
I was like, "Yeah, thank you so much." I felt so normal after that. Now,
Yeah.
after that, a lot didn't happen to me very much until I was about, odd things would happen and things would be told to me for me, probably until I was about 20, when I actively then started seeking out, what is this?
Right.
I think the next thing I remember that brought it up and out of me was sunning on with my girlfriend up on her garage in the summertime. And I said to her, "Now don't freak out on me, but who is this guy who's not alive, who's next to us. Who is this? And then I described him. And
Uh-huh.
she said, that's the guy who used to live upstairs from us. And I'm like, well, he's over here right now with us up on the garage sunning. I said, so
So
those
I
were some things.
so you
Yeah,
pretty much had the gifts, as a child, and obviously this, this runs in our family. You have it,
definitely.
mom's
Yes,
got it, me and
you
Molly
have
have
it.
it,
Your
and I know,
sister, my
yeah, and
granddaughter has it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
know
my
your
kid,
kids
my
have it too
son,
if they want to get into
my son definitely is, he's a channeler too, like his mom. Yeah,
it.
definitely. Yeah. So it's very much passed down a family lineage that we trace
Definitely.
it all the way back to Hungary. Yeah.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I didn't know how
Yeah.
far back it went. So, hey,
Yes.
I just
Because,
learned something new today, guys.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, because she came here when she was 16.
hmm
So grandma came from Hungary when she was 16 and then had 5 kids. Now, were they psychic? Probably, but I wouldn't know as a little girl. I have no
Yeah,
idea. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, on your journey, did you have any big teachers or influences or things that you would read that helped you along on this journey?
We're talking about the 70s and the 80s. As I said, there
hmm
was not a whole lot out there. People were talking about Edgar Casey. I kind of picked that up and went,
Yeah.
man, that's too big of a book to read. It was like, nope. I mean, I skimmed it, okay? If there were cliff notes, I got them. It's like, yeah.
You got what
But
you needed.
yeah, yeah. But, Sylvia Brown then started probably 80s. I'm not sure the dates, probably into the 90s. Sonia Charquette. I read a lot of her stuff. My best friend used to go to Sonia Charquette and get readings in Chicago in her kitchen. And my friend would go, do you want to go? And I go, no, 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 nope, not going, not going. You go. I don't want to go. I don't want to know. That's what I would say in my 20s. So, and then what other books that were out back then that people were just it was just kind of starting to come on the scene more, where people were really starting to believe and seek this out.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. What has surprised you the most doing this work professionally?
I'm going to say, and I don't mean this to be good nor bad, I am amazed at the people who come to get readings who are not open to the readings. Yes?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, who are not, and we still read for those people because there will things that will finally start to come out, and we call softening them up to
Yeah.
where they hear something and they go, okay, yeah, that is true. I'm going to participate more now. What else
Yeah.
do I want to
Yeah.
know? Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean,
having
and
to
that,
kind of like break through that barrier of like, yes, getting the reading even though they're not open to it yet.
yes, yeah, it's kind of like you tell me, and spirit's like, okay, we don't hold any, we're gonna talk to you and tell you what we have here, and
Right.
you take it for what it's worth, to
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably
Um,
that, I gotta say, yeah.
yeah, I could agree on that. And honestly, with the way the world is right now, we are getting a lot of that. I just want to see what this is and, prove to me you're psychic, prove to me
Yeah,
you know things. And again, guys, like this isn't why we're here. That's not why
yeah,
we
we're
do
not,
what we do.
yeah.
We're not here to prove anything to you at all. If
Mm-hmm,
anything, we're
mm-hmm,
here to give you guidance, information, clarity on things, a
mm-hmm,
connection with loved ones that have crossed over and things like that.
mm-hmm.
Like it's not
Yeah, yeah,
prove to me you're psychic, because that's not what it is.
right,
This
right.
is one of my favorite questions that I've asked all the readers. If you could go back and talk to your younger self at the beginning of this journey, what would you say?
I would say to embrace it. Do not be afraid of it. There is no reason to fear it, as I know it's not here to hurt you or that. If you don't have a mentor in your life, I would say you kind of have to sit with yourself, be quiet, quiet down, connect, listen, and then move forward that way. And then go towards what interests you, be it crystals, be it chakras, be it whatever. Embrace that in, take that in, and allow that to help you on that spiritual journey. Yeah.
I like that. So now we're going to kind of go into your specialties and like how you do your readings and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if I said you did channeling at the very beginning of this episode, but I know you do channel and you mainly specifically channel with Archangel Michael. So, how would you kind of describe how that process goes for you, for somebody
So
sitting at a session?
when someone sits in front of me, and that could be in person or it could be Zoom or it could be the phone, for energy is energy, and that's all spirit needs to connect with
Hmm.
someone. Before we start, we bring about their guides, whoever we're going to read for, we ask that their guides be present, for everybody has their guides. And then we bring about not only Michael, there are some others that come and some that I call runners for information. And when you first come on, I would explain to you that give me a second. I'm going to set myself aside and then I'm going to let Michael and that energy come in and take over. My eyes will not be open, for he says he doesn't need to. And he will start talking to you. And at any time, I always say, ask questions. Don't wait for a silence. Just butt in and go, I want this. What
Right.
about that? As he channels, he always talks about everybody on their path. And as you're walking on your path, and if you're veering right or left, and how you're going to get back on that path, depending on what's being talked about. A lot of people have walls. So Michael talks to them about breaking through that wall, walking through it. What is stopping you? You're going to eventually have to deal with it anyway. Walk through that. Here's what's on the other side. Whether good or bad, you're still going to have to deal with it. But if you have more information about it, you're better equipped, right? As you go
Right.
through that. He'll also sometimes, in order to talk to them, go back maybe into when they were in college or things that have happened to them so that they understand that they've had a guide with them since they came here. So, Michael, on your path, will talk about when you were born, you came here and you said to your guide, you stay there and try to get through to me the best you can as I'm walking. Try
Hmm.
to get through to me what it is I need to do to stay on that path, to keep walking forward on the path that I should be on. So he'll talk a lot about that on people. So he'll go back and say, you were this type of person. This is what happened to you. Almost always, I'm going to say, people are like, yeah, that was me. That's what happened. That's what I did. And then they're like, they're more relaxed then in the opening, as as they go forward with the reading. So he does sometimes, people who have passed over will come to the table right away. And sometimes they don't. People will ask about, somebody who's passed on. They'll say things like, is my mother okay? And right away, they don't always come, but if they do, they'll come to the table, as we call it, which is right here, the energy where we are. And they'll usually have something that's descriptive to show you that that's your mother. Or Michael may even be able to tell you how they passed, but there is something that is only for you at that
Hmm.
moment that that is my mom. That, and it's not always big things. I tell people it's not elaborate sentences or, a lot of talk. It's sometimes just images that
Right.
they bring forward,
Hmm.
that's just for you,
Yeah.
He'll go back to teach them. He'll ask them what spiritually they do for their self. Pray, meditate, yoga. What types of things do you do for yourself? He's always happy when they do these, like pray or meditate. He's very happy because then now you're
Right.
easier to talk to, right?
Yeah.
So he'll talk to them about using that to talk to their guides. He'll also say to some people, what is it about music with you? What is the music around you? People are like, what? Like you're in the car and you're yelling while you're singing, and somebody may laugh and go, I do that. I
Yeah.
do that. And Michael will say, Spirit can talk to you through that. So as you're
Uh-huh.
thinking of something, we'll give you one example. As you're thinking of something and you got to put it away, I can't find an answer for it. When you listen to music, a phrase, a word may come and a light bulb goes off and you go, I got it. I know the answer. I know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Now that
So,
you're aware, this
yeah.
spirit Spirit always says play with it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not you have to do it, because Spirit will never tell you
Oh
you
yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
You
Spirit
know
does
that,
not
right, Megan?
dictate what
Yeah,
you do. Yeah. They don't
never,
dictate at all.
never.
Yeah. So I feel
Somebody t
like also too, like with Michael, like this is like he brings in a lot of confirmation of what was, but also opens the door for what's next.
Yes.
And almost it almost feels like too that because I've seen you channel, with
Mm-hmm,
Michael and
mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and it seems like he holds that space for people to make those decisions for what's to come next.
Yeah.
And it's crazy though, there's almost kind of like a sense of compassion with that, of like he's like, I'm not judging you. Let's figure this
Never.
out
Yeah.
together, pretty much.
Yes.
So that's coming into my next question here is like, what kind of energy do you hope people feel when they leave a session with you? So after the session, what are you hoping they feel?
Yeah, yeah. No, I see it. I see how they come in at the beginning, and I see the relief at the end. And I will say, there's a difference in you. You're lighter now.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time they go, yeah, I am. I feel a lot better. I feel really good. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how you should feel when
Right.
you leave. You should feel some energy. You should feel good. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then move on from there. Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
also, because I know earlier when we were talking, you were like, Michael likes to teach as well. So I
Always.
also wanted to let everybody who's listening or watching know, when Chris channels Michael, like, ask questions about your chakras, aura, energy in general, or some type of whatever spiritual modality you're maybe thinking about going into as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And also I know, when Chris does channel Michael, it's simple. Like it's not overcomplicated. It's not,
Right.
everything.
Yeah, no. It's simple. And that's one of Michael's things. He'll say the entire time, keep
Hmm.
this simple. Like you
Hmm.
mentioned chakras.
Yes.
He'll say 7 basic. Keep it simple. If you understand the colors, your guide can talk to you through colors. So he'll say if every day you're pulling out a blue shirt, it's your throat chakra. What are you not speaking about? What opinion are you holding, or judgment, or whatever? That's
Hmm.
for you to sit and think about then.
Right.
That's your guide, knocking on your head. But he always says, keep it simple. So he'll say the 7 chakras. He'll say, but if it speaks to you when you go and learn this, then dive into it. But he says it has to speak. He'll do this to your heart chakra. And if
Hmm.
it speaks to you, then go do it.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I love that. Love it. So now we're going to kind of go into a couple different questions, a little bit more of like what clients can expect with you as well. So I mean, I think we kind of touched base on this a little bit. So say somebody like never had a reading before, decided to set up a session with you. How would you help make that client feel comfortable before the session began?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I would go back to explaining what is about to happen, how it is I channel, how I set myself aside, I call it, and allow spirit to come in. Normally, as I know a reading's coming up, I prepare a little bit beforehand. I'm already 3/4 Michael, a little bit me out, because I
Hmm.
realize the person I read for, that's their time, so
Right. Yeah.
we want to give as much as possible. And I always say this, it will still be my voice. You're not going to hear a different voice. It's me. Yeah, yeah.
You're not going to change it to like some manly
Yeah, there's
voice.
nothing gonna, yeah, it's just me. It's so funny. I always have to say that. People are like, oh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a movie. Yeah.
And to kind of explain it a little bit for our listeners, like so typically there are a few different types of people when it comes to channeling. So there's people who channel that completely let that entity, that energy completely enter their body and kind of just take over. And then there's also some people who channel who don't let that happen, but they still have that solid connection with the channel to be able to bring forward the information. For Chris,
Right.
she likes to, like she says, set herself aside so that Michael can kind of come more into her and bring the messages more forward and more clear
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
whoever's sitting in front of her as well.
Yes.
So just to let everybody know, if you do end up getting a session, she's not like
Right. Right. Yeah.
just channeling.
What you see right here is what you get.
Pretty much.
This is it. Oh,
What role do you believe the clients play in their own healing or insight?
it's a good question. What role do I believe? The things that they hear, as we talked before, they find is a lot of confirmation of things that they've already been thinking about. But as Michael talks about that wall, they don't want to look at it. I don't want to
Yep.
do it. I
Mhm,
can't, I'm going to stay on this side because I know what's here, but
mhm,
over there is scary. So I think, you know, for that, I think when I see people, at least when I do my channeling, that actually have walked through that wall in that session to help them. And
mhm.
they realize that, you know what, this has been silly. I see it now. And Michael says, you already knew. You just needed that confirmation of somebody go, yeah, I hear it. I hear what you want to do, and you should do it. You know, like
Mhm.
that, things like that. If
Yeah,
that answers that, yeah.
yeah, yeah. How do you keep your work grounded, ethical, and supportive for clients?
Grounded. Well, I always work on my chakras, so I make sure that I am grounded before
Mhm,
I work with anybody, and that, you know, whatever I as a human being may have going on is actually not in the room that I work in. I have my own, what I call spiritual room, that
mhm,
is kind of like sanctified for me to come in and have that energy that we need, that's only good and positive energy
mhm.
as we're working, you know? So, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I do
So
that.
you have your
Yeah,
own little space set up at home.
definitely. That's what it's for only. Yes, yes. And
Love
probably
it.
about, like I said, probably about a half hour before I read, I come in and I start to bring everything in. You know,
Uh-huh.
again, their guides, everything that we need to do the reading too. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah,
See, guys,
yeah.
there's a process to things, okay? I mean,
Yeah,
we can just,
we
do what we
can.
gotta do,
Yeah, yeah, we
um,
can.
but when it comes to, doing this professionally, it really is important setting yourself up, to be ready to receive the information.
Yes,
So and I think a lot of people really like that you actually are prepared and you're not like, oh crap, I have a reading and I got to get this done. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Nope, nope,
So
yeah.
that's awesome. Now we're going to kind of go into some wisdom and advice for our
Okay.
listeners. What advice would you give someone who is going through a confusing or uncertain time in their life?
You're in certain time in their life. Whew, that's a lot. That's a lot of people, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Michael talks about people on their path, and as he comes in, a lot of times on that path, he will see a split. So, it's actually like a picture, like I think of it like a road, and he'll actually see a split, maybe two. And when he starts to read for people, he will say to them, your path right now is not clear. You've got two decisions to make, or you have one decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
This may be on work, this may be on their relationships, and just kind of talk through it for the person, because once Michael says you have two, they'll go, oh, yeah, I do. And then Michael say, this is a work decision. Yeah, it is. And
Mm-hmm.
then he'll see, maybe you could step up. So in that confusing time of getting the reading, it comes out what these decisions are that they're trying to make. And Spirit actually just kind of almost like takes their hand and says, let's walk through this and see, because this is what we see for you. But Spirit also says, even though these things are told to you and confirms for you, you still have free will, free spirit.
Yes.
And you may not even, you may go right instead of left. That's your choice. But
Mm-hmm.
because you're here and talked with spirit now you have some options for yourself, which I see to be very helpful for these confusing times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What is something you wish more people understood about psychic or intuitive work?
That I think that us who do this type of work, there's something to it that even though we are blessed to be able to do this, we are still human beings ourselves.
Right.
We are still we still have to care for ourselves as we care for others, as we read for them. So
Right.
kind of remember that when you sit in front of us. Not everybody's real nice who sits in front of us, are they? They're not nice, and you're like,
Yeah.
why are you here? But okay, fine. My Michael is going to go, okay, sit here. We're going to read for you. You can be that way, but we're going to read for you.
Right. Yeah.
And again, a lot of times by the end of that, they've turned around. They've
Right.
turned around with that attitude, right? You've
Yeah.
seen that. We all know it, you know. But I think that is it. Yeah.
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 Remember, we're human, guys. We're not, I don't know, like like how the movies portray psychics and, gypsies and things like
Yeah.
that, it's
That's
not like that. It's
mm-mm.
not. I
Mm-mm.
mean, don't get me
No.
wrong, some of it looks really fun and I would, I think it'd be awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Smoke-filled room and
Yeah,
all kinds
right.
of yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, guys, we're human. So that's like, yeah, I love that. What message do you feel the collective really needs to hear right now?
Everybody needs to trust each other. You know, we always throw out love, of course, right? But I think right now, trust in each other and trust in what you know to be true in things that are being portrayed to us every single day. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to kind of sift through what is really reality. And in that, Spirit is saying, trust in that and trust in also being true to yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would come through to being true to you, to whatever that means to you.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is. Yeah.
And what does trusting your intuition really mean to you?
So, as Michael would say, a lot of people right away have great intuition, and those are the people who go like this. Oh, I know I shouldn't have done that, and I did it anyway.
Yep.
They're in tune, but they don't realize it.
Yeah.
So, Michael says, as you're thinking about wanting to do something, and as you sit and think about it, what comes into your head? And that's again chakras, that's your solar plexus, right in that stomach area. What is coming in there? What is coming in here? What is coming in your heart chakra as well? And go with that. And to start to get better with it, write down what you hear, even if it's a word, it's a
Yep.
sentence, just jot it down and eventually it'll start to make sense to you. And you can go back and you'll start to see that your intuition has been talking to you. You
Mhm.
just haven't been listening. So I would say that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And even like too, like especially like technology now. So for instance, so for example, say you keep hearing a random word in your head and you're like, what is this random word? Jot it down in your notes or make a recording of it and say, hey, I'm
Right.
just getting this right now and maybe it'll make sense later and it normally
Mm-hmm.
does too.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So now we're gonna get into some like fun and personal questions as well.
Okay. Okay.
What's one thing most people don't know about you?
Hmm. What do they not know about me? Wow. A fun thing, not on the spiritual side, but I guess it could be. Not only do I love everybody's music, but I love to dance. So I dance a lot in my kitchen. Yeah, I do that. And it's so freeing, let me tell you. You let
Yeah.
that music blast, you let your body go however it wants to go. And that's being in spirit. Yeah.
So you're a kitchen dancer.
Yes, I dance in my kitchen. Yep. And sometimes I will grab my husband on the slow songs and say, dance with me.
Yeah.
And he does. But he's like, ah, dancing is good for your
Goodness.
soul.
So right now, do you have a favorite crystal or tool or ritual that you like to do?
I have two things that Michael always uses. So one is this crystal.
Okay.
And you would know what this is, Megan. Your mom told me once and I don't remember.
I don't think it's just that right.
Flortine, floor. Okay, well, okay. And this. This was a necklace that your mom had made for me. And Michael will spin these things the whole time he talks. So you may not see it while I'm doing something on a Zoom and definitely not on a phone call. But if you're in front of me, he's forever spinning these, usually on the table in front of me. It's just energy. It's a way to release some of the energy because it is so big. So as these things spin for me, through Michael, it releases energy the whole time. That's what it's doing. Yeah.
Okay. And this was my favorite. If your spiritual work had a theme song, what would it be?
Okay. God, there's lots of songs. But right away, I think it would be anything that Cher sings. I absolutely love her. Have gone to many of her concerts in the day. I think right now it would be the song I Believe. I believe in love. I believe
Okay.
in love for everybody. Yeah,
Okay.
that's not just for me. Good
All
song
right.
though. Good song to dance to.
And then now I'm just going to ask a few more questions and kind of like we're closing up our little session here, which has been fun. Is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know about you or your sessions or anything like that?
Okay. So after Michael does some teaching, and everybody's different, not everybody gets the same type of thing. It's whatever Michael and Spirit thinks that they need to talk about to help them on their spiritual journey as well. A lot of times, too, I may have touched on this, people will ask, people who have passed, they want to know if
Yeah.
they're okay or about them. And usually at the beginning, I will tell people that they will have to say the name of the person that they're looking for because they think about this, who you're looking for. And then they may come to the table, they may not. Most of the time they do. And when they come, they will, again, as I said before, bring us something that only that person will know. Oh, that is my mom. That is grandma.
Yeah.
I would probably say that besides everything else that Michael encompasses for the people that I read for. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that
Okay.
would be, yeah.
And last question, is there an intention that you would like to leave our listeners with today? An intention or a message or anything like that?
Yeah. Michael would say, be good to yourself.
Mhm.
Be good to yourself. Michael does a lot of this for people. Do that for
Fair.
yourself, would you? Yeah, do it for yourself. If not, who else is going to do it, right?
Right.
Be
Yeah.
good to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
I
what I would
agree.
leave with. Yeah.
I agree. 100%. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for doing this interview with me today.
Yeah. It's been
Um,
fun.
yeah, it was. And just to let everybody know, you can book with Chris on the Crystal Magic Psychic Center website. She is
Hmm.
on there right now. She only offers phone and Zoom, but again, you
But
can still
yeah,
connect whether you're in person or thousands of miles away.
yeah,
Energy works either way, regardless.
yeah. And
So
I
again,
hope to, not to cut you, I hope to
no, you're good.
soon be in Sedona too. And when I am, then we'll let them know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love being there at the
yeah.
center.
We'll keep
Yeah,
everybody posted. We're constantly updating the website, letting everybody know when readers are available, when, what, why, and how,
yeah,
and things like that. So, guys, until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and trust your
yeah.
path, and take life day by day because that's all you really can do.
That's it.
So,
Yep.
guys, keep an eye out
Yes.
for more of our episodes, and we'll see you later.
Yeah. Bye.